hello. I would like to be the first one to wish you a happy New Year's Eve. Today is officially, it is 12:51 a.m. It is officially the last day of 2019, and I'm not heartbroken at all. 2019 has been a rough year. Anybody else? It's been a rough year. I am ready for 2020. Let's bring this on. New day, new year, new us. Let's do this, right? 2020 is the year that my book will finally be finished. I promise. I promise, I promise. 2020 is the year it will be finished. Whether it'll be published or not, we'll see. But this is the year I'm going to finish writing it. And for those of you that have rooted for me and have asked me so many times when the book's going to be done, thank you. Thank you for motivating me. Thank you for giving me something to shoot for. Thank you for having faith in me to write something that you might actually kind of be interested in. We'll see. But tonight, as we end 2019 and we enter into 2020, I want to read to you the intro to Memoirs of the Pastor's Daughters. I don't just have the memoir or the intro written. I have more than that. But tonight you only get the intro. So without further ado, here is the intro to Memoirs of the Pastor's Daughters. What would your dad say about, that question always annoyed me. My dad, though he was a youth pastor, was a normal guy. He had a normal sense of humor. He found farts funny, often blaming his own on the ducks or that frog. He giggled at Tom and Jerry. He cried watching My Girl. He fell asleep and snored loudly on the couch at Thanksgiving. His favorite movie was A League of Their Own, and he loved Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock. He loved to read, though he had little time to do so, and he was an avid Ohio State Buckeyes fan. OH. He loved the Bengals, the Browns, the Colts, and the Reds. He was a normal dad. He was married to a normal wife and the mother of his 2 normal daughters. So why on earth would he care that I said crap in class? Growing up in the fishbowl that is ministry, we always got asked the dumbest questions. People at church felt it was their job to parent us. Never mind the fact that we had the best mom and the best dad in the world, and they were doing a great job. Sure, all teens, regardless of their parents' occupation, have their own very personal struggles. We were just like any other teenage sisters. We simultaneously loved and loathed each other. We had no difficulty inflicting mental and or physical anguish on each other. Oh, but heaven help the poor fool who tried to do so from the outside. The wrath of the sister was sure and swift. People always told us, oh, just wait until you're older, you'll be best friends. I couldn't for the life of me understand how I would ever be best friends with that brat-faced little tag-along. She was the typical baby sister, going for a daytime Emmy each moment of her waking hours. And I was always the loser, but I digress. People said many things. They acted in ways that were a little off in our view. Sure, some of them were right, but many of them were quite wrong, both in approach and in motive, as well as logic and reason. However, I don't resent them anymore. I did for a long time, an extremely long time if I'm being honest, but I've realized as I've gotten on in years, they're all human. They, like myself, are flawed and impulsive. They may not have fully thought through their actions or the repercussions they would have on the lives of 2 impressionable teenagers, but they're a part of my story. Their actions, both helpful and detrimental, helped shape me into the woman I've become. And I think she's a pretty rad chick. Without their helpful mistakes, I'd be in a very different place in my life with a very different tale to tell. For years, I've been told, girl, you need to write this stuff down. You're a great writer and people need to hear these stories. Yeah, I'm not sure about all of that. I mean, you may be the only person to ever read these memoirs. Even now, as I sit typing, I'm not certain what you'll read as your fingers turn the subsequent pages. However, I do know my own personal motivation. Nope, sorry, not yet. All in good time. I can't give away the cake. You'll go to another bakery. I can tell you, however, that part of my motivation in writing these words are the many people who have come and gone from my life. Some of them are family members, others are friends. Some are people for whom I had the utmost respect, but they shattered that. Others I didn't particularly care for in the moment, but I've gained an appreciation for them as I've grown and I've matured, be it ever so slightly. I also can tell you that the words you read will not be politically correct. I speak fluent sarcasm, and I can't promise that you won't be slightly offended at times. I do apologize in advance, but I am a truthful person, both in my writing and in my daily speech. I write as I speak, and I speak from the deepest parts of myself. See, that's the thing. In my nearly 40 years on this big, round, beautiful ball of diversity, I've learned not to take myself too seriously. I've learned that the secret to my joy isn't found inside of myself. It isn't even found in those around me. The secret to my joy, though you may have an idea, will not be fully shared until you've turned the final page of this book. Not because I want to string you along, but because honestly, I'm not sure that I've learned it in its entirety just yet. Each time I sit down at my computer, my keyboard takes on a new life. I learn, I cope, I think, I relax through my writing. This isn't a storybook. I wouldn't even consider it a true autobiography. It's more of a series of snapshots, a mosaic, if you will. It's a glimpse into the deepest parts of my heart and that of my family. My parents, as they joined their lives together in 1977, had no idea where that road would lead them. They had no clue how high their highs would be, nor how very low into the valley life would lead them. They only knew that Christ was at the helm, and he was leading them, and they would follow regardless of the cost. That's the life they gave to me. That's the life I spent years running from, and it's what I returned to once I searched my soul for the answers that I was certain were wrong, only to find that they'd been right all along. It's the foundation upon which my husband and I are now building our lives, and we're leading our children. It's that motivation which causes me to pursue ministry myself. I've come full circle. Perhaps, perhaps not. I began my early years as a pastor's daughter who sometimes felt she played second fiddle to her father's work in the church. Now, however, I find myself impassioned by ministry. I have a different perspective as I seek to use my talents and my gifts that I may not have found had I not been raised in a pastor's house. But I can't shake this bug, this ministry bug. Sometimes God gives us a passion that began as a burden. It's quite a paradox, but it's something I found quite beautiful as I've spanned nearly 4 decades. I had no clue that my story began decades before my birth, but that is a tale for another page. For now, I leave you with this thought. We are who we are, and where we come from is only a brick in our path. The full picture can't be seen as we walk through it. It's only from the top of the hill that we can see the road in its fullness. The moment at which we'll reach the top of the hill is known only by God. But until we reach that end, we must strive to build the most beautiful cobblestone path. And we pray that others will admire it long after our feet have left it. We pray that our feet will not leave potholes along the way. Sure, there may be slight divots, tiny imprints left upon the path, but may they not cause those who walk behind us to stumble or to fall. May they see each impression of our foot as a story, a legacy that leads them to the road upon which their lives will be built. May each step of our journey be a lesson for those who come behind us, and may they smile upon every remembrance. So with that, happy 2020. I pray that 2020 finds you blessed. I pray that you find love and joy and prosperity and success and whatever it is that you choose to do in 2020. But until then, I'll keep on writing, and we'll chat another day. Happy New Year.